Welcome back on another video, guys. I really like this quote: with your mind, you create the world. But I think that is something very important that is missing here, is that before that, the world creates and shapes your mind. And this is the topic of this video. In this video, we're gonna talk about how your mind creates your reality, but we first need to understand how is our mind conditioned right now, because all of us are the product of our environment to a large degree. Our childhood, your parents, the society, where you grew up, how you grew up, the experiences, the belief, and everything that you've accumulated through the years have created, conditioned your mind in a specific way. And that conditioning, that past conditioning today is creating your reality to a very large extent. And as long as we don't understand that, we are missing pieces of the puzzle to truly understand, why is this happening in my life? Why am I creating this? Why am I struggling to change, to understand why am I doing what I'm doing, and why am I not creating the life that I want? So in this video, I want to go down with you and really break down, how does the mind really works? How does the mind really create your reality? And above all, how can you do something about it? How can you break down those old programs that are no longer serving you, that are not taking you where you want to go in your life? So I want to keep it very simple, practical, so that you can use this in your life. And I truly believe that this is something that should be taught at school. It's something that we should all know, because this is where true power is. So let's go straight into this video. We're going to be using the whiteboard today. So here, this is you. In a very simplistic way, this represents you, your mind, yeah? And on this side here, we have the world, okay? Until here, it's very simple. Now, let's look at the fundamental way things work and how you perceive reality, because remember, perception is creation. The way you perceive reality, what do I mean reality? I mean the external world, because the external world is always giving us some form of information. You're walking down the street, you see people, you see birds, flower, pollution, car, traffic, you receive information. You watch this video, you receive information. You talk to people, you play video games, you scroll on social media. All of this is information. Now, before you create a thought, a meaning in your life about that information, right? Before you actually consciously understand, like, okay, this is good, I like this video, it's great, it's gonna help me, or ooh, what a beautiful woman, what a beautiful man. Before you go to that conscious thought that we have about what we see, hear, experience in our world, there's something very important that takes place. Something that we are not aware of, but that is always taking place like this. And that is here. There is your subconscious mind filters. And so what happens here is that your subconscious mind, based on all the conditioning that we've been talking about, what you think is good, right, bad, what you think the world is, what you think you are, all those past experiences that have shaped your perception, your subconscious mind is filtering that external world based on all the conditioning that you have, and then creates a meaning, a thought, a rational way for you to understand what is happening. Does that make sense? So all those filters here are the key for you to control your reality. And we're going to break it down in a little bit, but this is why people don't see the world in the same exact way. You can see traffic, you can be stuck in traffic, one person is dancing, listening to music, and the other person is fuming, being angry and resentful. So you see, we all respond to the world based on our subconscious filter and the meaning, the thought that we create about this. Now, what happens next is that once we have the thought about that event, it creates a feeling, right? Our thought creates a feeling. That's why it's very hard to think greater than how you feel. So you see something you like, you start to feel good, you feel happy, you feel excited. You see something that triggers that thought of bitterness or anger or resentment or anxiety, and you start to feel it. Yeah? And all of this, again, is happening very fast. Now, our thoughts and our feeling create a state of being. This is what we consciously can, moment by moment, notice the most. What do I think about and how am I feeling? Yeah? And those two are very important because how you think and how you feel affect something very important, and that is what you do, your behavior and the decisions that you make about things. And in turn, this leads to the result that you get. And there you have the first loop of how your life is creating your reality. So example, you see here in the world, let's say, okay, you see a certain amount of money in your bank account and a bill coming in. And you receive that information and it goes through all the scarcity, all the past experiences of lack and not enough and money is bad, and all those ugly scarcity, lack belief that you have about money. Yeah? So it creates a thought. Maybe it's the same usual habitual thought. Oh my God, I gotta pay the money, it's gonna be tight, where's the money gonna come from? Okay, and then that thought straight away creates the feeling of anxiety, that familiar feeling, oh my God, it's happening again, oh my God, oh my God. And you get that habitual feeling. And so that feeling then leads to decisions, to behaviors that will create or perpetuate a result. And here is what is so important, is that when you're in that loop of keep on creating the same thing over and over and over, there's something very important that happens, is that in your mind, in your brain, at the back of your brain, there's something called the reticular activating system. It's called RAS in short, okay? And so this system is a little bit like a radar. What it does is that it looks for evidence to reinforce the belief and perception that you have. So if your thought here in this example is that money is tight, there's not enough money, it's hard to make money, and all this type of thought, it's going to look at the world, at your result, to be like, you see another bill, you see I'm struggling to make money, you see how tight the economy, you see this is happening. And so this is going to reinforce the belief, the perception that you are right. And so you see how this then become a vicious cycle that is very easy to remain stuck on, because the main struggle that people have is to think greater than what they see here in the world. So as long as the money is tight, as long as the bank account and the bill are showing a certain picture, they struggle to think greater. They struggle to get out of the scarcity, out of the anxiety, out of the feeling, and to have the courage to think greater and to do something different about it. And so subconsciously, because their mind is so stuck on the past, projecting certain things on the world, it creates this pattern over and over and over again, because yes, your subconscious filters are being projected on the world. And so what do I mean by that? What does it mean that your subconscious filters are being projected on the world? Well, you see money, people and the world and everything else, not as it is, but based on who you are. So you all had this experience. You walk down the street, you see a man, a woman, or who, doesn't matter. And in a moment, you don't know them, you never talk to them, you have no idea who or what they are, where they're going, but you've already created a judgment. You've already created a story about that person, right? So it's not about how the person, you have no idea who or what the person is, but your mind has projected on that person all the beliefs that you have. And so you've painted a picture in your mind about that person. Now, you same about money. You see rich people, and the RAS is only showing you things to support your belief system. So you see rich people are greedy, and you see things that rich people do on the news, and you're so focused on those things, and it subconsciously just reinforces that belief system. And then you see the world, and you see the global warming, and the violence, and the things happening, and it reinforces your perception that this is a place where you have to fight and struggle and sacrifice and work hard for everything that you want. Yeah? But it also works in a positive way, right? If you practice a lot of gratitude, if you're very happy, if you feel very good about yourself, you're going to project that onto the world. And you're going to see people and you're going to be, man, people are amazing, right? Look at that person, is helping them. Look at that person, is smiling. They don't even know me. You're going to see that money. You're going to be like, oh my God, there's just so much abundance out there. There's just so much abundance out there, right? So it works in both ways. And this is the beauty of your mind, is that you can mold it, you can change it, you can transform it in any way, shape, and form that you want. So if those subconscious filters, if some of that programming is not creating here the result that you want to see and experience in your life, it means that you should not be focusing here, what most people do, right? And fighting the mirror and trying to change the people and the money and the world and all these things. No, what you have to look at is here, in this part happening in your own mind, the true cause. What is happening inside of me that is keep on creating those situations in my life? What is it, if we're talking about money again, what is it about my self-worth? My ability to make money, to deserve money, to believe that I'm worthy of making the money that I want. What is it about the relationship that I have with money? Did I grow up in an environment where it was always scarce, where money was always responsible for everything? What is happening inside of me, in my belief system, in my identity, that is clearly affecting how I think, how I feel, and what I do, and therefore the results that I'm creating in my life? So in this simple picture, you can see how your mind is creating your world, because you never see the world as it is, void of all meaning, unless you're very present. But for most of the time, we see things and the mind is just so quick at creating a meaning, a thought, a story, a picture in our mind about what that things mean. And so the key here is in you. And we're going to start talking now about what can you do to change your mind in order to change your result. Because again, it's not about fighting the mirror, but it's about coming here to the case. So if you've been paying attention to what I've been saying, by now you understand that everything starts here and here. Now, your subconscious filter are usually subconscious. Carl Jung calls this the shadow aspect. It means there are beliefs, thoughts, feeling, emotion, parts of you that you're not even aware that you have. Now, how you can become aware of those filters is by looking at your results and by monitoring the thoughts, the mental pictures, and feelings and emotions that you have habitually about things, experiences, people in your life. Because that will clearly show you the root cause is here somewhere in your belief system. It is creating the same old habitual thoughts, feeling, and decisions. So there's two things I invite you to do to take control of your life and to create your reality with using your mind consciously. And so the first thing is to go consciously to work on your thought. And I talk a lot about the power here of affirmation, the power of consciously changing your mental activity, your self-talk, but also the power of visualization, creating here in your mind the picture of what you want to experience here. Why? Because the more you spend focused attention, focused energy, the more you spend focus here, right? The more you are influencing your subconscious mind. Because whatever you hold in your conscious mind long enough, with enough energy, will become part of the filter. And this is very important, right? A belief is nothing more than a thought that you have repeated over and over and over again with enough emotion and certainty that it became true. And so just like anything that you've created so far in your life, in your program, you can undo that and change it. But you must first become disciplined here by screening out the old thoughts. So if we take money, for example, so instead of keep on thinking habitually by default about money being bad and money being scarce and money not enough, and projecting all that thing again unconsciously. Taking control means what? How does it look like? It means that, well, you know, there's a better way for me to think about money and my relationship with money and how much I can make. I realize that money is not the problem, that money is simply neutral, and that I can re-qualify money with any thoughts and energy that I deserve, that will serve me best in my world. Yeah? So now you consciously starting to change the story that you've had about money, and then you can start seeing yourself making more money, buying things freely, giving some of that money, using money in a different way. Yeah? What that's going to do is that it's going to create a different feeling. And the moment you have that feeling, you are energizing the thoughts, and now it starts to stick in your subconscious mind. And then if you go in your life and you start to act as if you are already the person, already having what you want, making decisions. Let's say, okay, on the money, when it comes down to paying bills, instead of going in scarcity and lack again, you could simply take a big breath and being grateful for whatever service that bill has been provided you, electricity, water, internet, this, that, and be like, I'm so grateful. I'm gonna pay the money that I have for this great service. I appreciate you. So you're giving something different and you're breaking this old pattern. And if you do that, what's gonna happen is that your RAS here is going to start, especially if you do it consciously, noticing different results, right? The evidence, the little manifestation, the little wins that you have as a result of changing your inner world, your inner activity. If you start to take those little wins, those little changes, and you look at them as confirmation, what's going to happen is that this is going to drive it further in your subconscious mind, because it becomes an evidence that supports that new system in your mind. Okay? Does that make sense? And if you do that long enough, what's going to happen is that naturally you are going to start thinking, feeling, doing, acting, being differently. And you will see how this will in shape change your result and change how you see, interact, perceive, and also what you attract in the world. And this is the mirror principle, right? We've been talking a lot about this in the channel recently. So you can see how all of this is tying in together. And so in a simple way, and I hope you make sense, because I've been growing all over the place here, but if you've been paying attention and following through and watching this video as many times as you need to fully understand the simple yet complex mechanic of the mind, you will see that all you have to do is have enough focus, attention, and energy here in your thoughts, and consciously rooting out everything that's no longer needed and required, no longer creating what you want, and giving more attention here than here. Because if you keep on focusing on what is instead of what you want, you are giving your attention, your power to this, you are energizing this, and it's only going to make you feel like a victim. It's going to make you feel defeated. It's going to make you feel like nothing is working. See, I've tried everything and I'm still not changing this. And that is one of the pitfalls, right? So you have to really just focus here, trust, have faith, absolute belief that if you spend enough time changing, rooting out all those thoughts, focusing, visualizing, feeling that way, acting as if, things will change. And there might be a delay. It might need some time for the world here to change, for the result to deliver in the way that you want. But if you keep on looking for evidence to support the new system, it will happen. This is the law, this is how it works, this is how your mind creates your reality. So that's it, guys, for this video. Thank you for watching until the end. If you're still here, thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any question down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to help me grow this channel, and I will see you next time. Be well.